Hello, my dear resin monkeys. This is a very different video from the ones that I normally upload. Usually the figure, the fully assembled and painted figure, is seen at the very end of its video, but due to the nature of that video being a story time and a subject matter which not a lot of people are probably in the mindset of listening to, I decided to make a totally separate video going into detail for this chubby, cute little girl that you see on screen. This is an impromptu video. I don't have anything scripted, so I will just go into little areas of the mini diorama that I created and tell you more about what went into the thought process of what I was doing and why I did things the way I did. If you're new to my channel and if you're wondering how I did all this, you can go over to my previous video. If you're not interested in the story, you can just put anything in the background as noise. You can just mute it and watch the entire process. It doesn't really affect it, although there are some personal images and clips sprinkled through the video. If that doesn't bother you, then go ahead and watch it. But right now, I'm going to go into detail for the whole thing right now. I know a lot of people wanted to see this figure fully painted and displayed, and I get it. If you don't want to see the other video, completely fine with me. I'm pretty sure all of you know who this is. This is Trick or Treat, now known as Katy Moon. Ever since Kotobukiya purchased the license from the artist that did the sculpture to make it a mass production, they changed the name to Katy Moon, but I will still call her Trick or Treat. I wanted to bring out this video probably around Halloween because of the name, not because she was made for Halloween, just because of the name, but things happened and I couldn't make it. So you're watching this now because time. I did a lot of thought into what I wanted to do for this figure. First of all, it is very, very rare, if not ever, seen that someone in Japan produces a figure with a chubby girl. Usually that's not something that people over there are interested in very thin type figures, which is the norm. But seeing her the first time I saw this figure, I was enamored with it. I was mesmerized. I was like, wow, that is such a different type of physique in a figure that I've never seen before, and it's really well done. She is very chubby, she's quite thick, but she's still really cute, which is something I really, really liked. That was the reason I chose this figure for that particular story time, due to the subject matter again. But before I continue, I need to do something that I was supposed to do at the beginning of this video, which is turn it on. Her original color palette is not the one that I used for her. I actually used alternate colors, particularly because I wanted something different and I wanted something that I could call mine. First of all, her hair. Her hair is something that I really, really wanted to change because even though I like the color combination that the original artist did for her, I still wanted to do something else. And I've said it in my videos many times before that I love to live vicariously through my figures. And I painted her hair with a gradient, something that I actually would like to do in real life, but it's too much of a commitment. I mean, going purple is a good thing for me. I love purple and I'm an artist. I love color. That's why I got the purple hair. But if I had that level of commitment, I would probably go with a gradient where I would go purple and then go down to like a soft pink color. But I just can't in real life. And that's why I decided to go with that color combination for this figure in particular. I also switched the color combinations for her outfit. The original edges for her outfit were pink, but since I'm changing the color of the hair, I didn't want it to blend with everything. I wanted some contrast. So I thought maybe if I just switched pinks for blues, it would be a good color combo, and I think it turned out really well. It's not something that I say often in my work, but I really like how she came out with this color combination in particular. The original concept also had like some gradients here and there on her outfit, but it included blue. But since I was doing the blue outlines on her outfit, I just omitted it entirely and switched it to purple. The silver stripes that she has were originally just that, silver. I actually had some interesting paint that I had stashed out that I wasn't able to use until now. That paint is a holographic pigment that is ready to use out of the bottle, and you saw it in the video. In case you did, it's in the video. But I wanted to do something cool for the outfit in general to make it pop. So all the silver stripes are actually holographic. It's really, really hard to capture it on camera. And I tried my best, but you know, you vaguely see it. It's not until you see it in person that you can actually see all the colors shifting with the rainbows in the hollow. She doesn't have any type of base. She's just a standalone figure. And when I saw her, I honestly just pictured her being in a bar. For some reason, I don't know, that's how my mind works. I'm not a person that goes to bars. In fact, I don't drink. But for her, I was like, you know what? That stool that she's sitting on would look like it looks like she's at a bar for some reason. So with that idea, I was like, well, maybe if I do a mini bar for her, because I wanted to do something special. Not just have her, you know, sitting there. I mean, she looks nice sitting alone, but I thought of making something that would, you know, complement the scene. And that's when I started to sit down, and I honestly, I don't know how to 3D model yet. I'm trying to learn, but for now, Tinkercad is free and it's really easy to use. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take inspiration from maybe mini bars from The Sims, because I like to play The Sims a lot. And that's how I came up with the design for this mini bar. Also taking some elements from real life, because I didn't know that the beer tap was so simple in design. So basically the furniture is modeled by me. I did it through Tinkercad. Again, easy to use, it's not that hard. And I thought something like this would suit her well. Now this was just an idea in my head. I really didn't develop it further until I was actually working on the figure. Always leaving things at the end, like always. I want to note that each element on the bar has a meaning for me. I'm gonna go through them really quickly just so that you're in the loop on why they're there. First of all, she came with two hands. One hand holds a lollipop. The other hand that you could have used has a butterfly knife, hence the title of the figure, Trick or Treat. The trick is the butterfly knife and the treat is a lollipop. Again, nothing to do with Halloween, so it didn't really matter if I brought this video out before or after. I honestly didn't want to lose that little detail of the butterfly knife, so I printed one and painted it so that it can just stay on the bar itself, so that she can still keep that element. The cake is something that I always loved, and as a former fat girl, I can say that it was one of my favorite treats. And since she was a little, you know, a little representation of my former self, I was like, she needs some chocolate cake. She doesn't really look like the type of girl that would be just drinking for drinks. I think she would be the type of girl to go out for drinks and a snack. And that's why I printed out a little piece of cake there. Now, the liquor that you see on the bar has meaning. First of all, she is drinking one that's called Blood Spike. And I always thought that blue drinks are really, really sweet. So I just grabbed a bottle off of the internet and some martini glasses. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a blue martini kind of thing. But I'm just gonna call it Sugar Spike. Sugar Spike because I used to be diabetic. And it went into remission, thankfully, after I lost the weight. And that's why it's there. It represents the moment in my life, you know, where I was indulging a lot in sugar. The other one is called Heart Attack. One, I put on a little note that said 60% sugar instead of alcohol, like 3% alcohol, 10% alcohol, you know, what you see in normal liquor. I just put in 60% sugar, and the other one is actually 85% sodium. And it's called a Heart Attack. That was because I was consuming a lot of sodium before the pandemic. So this represents my addiction to sunflower seeds before I ended up in the hospital. The skull with the candy is just extra. That's the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I remember candy from Halloween. There's always that like taffy that's colored like black and orange, and I'm like, that'd be a nice little, you know, little detail. So that's just extra. It doesn't really have any meaning. It's just I like how it looked, and I don't remember eating that candy. Maybe I did and I didn't like it. It's just a memory at this point. On the back of the bar, even though you really will be able to see it unless it's constantly turning in 360 so you can see everything, you don't really see the back of it. But I still wanted to add details because you know me, I am just all about the details. I just added like little cubes of ice and pineapple and cherry because that's what you see at a bar. If you see cocktails, you see pineapples and cherries and ice. So that's the reason why they're there. I honestly didn't know what I was going to do for the sign. I wanted it to glow. I wanted it to be visible and to look like an actual LED or neon light, like those that you see at bars. So it took a while to come up with an idea of how to light it up. Speaking of the sign itself, she actually does have a logo, but it's the logo from the actual garage kits. I am not talking about the pre-painted mass production one. This is the garage kit, and this is the one that I will, like I said, keep on calling it Trick or Treat. And she had a little logo. Now, unfortunately, I only had the sheet where the logo was printed, and I didn't have anything digital. What I did was just scan that image and put it on the computer. It's a really crappy scan, and what I thought about doing was just doing an outline so that I can extrude it and make it into a 3D file. And I just needed the outline, so I just put it into Photoshop. So I just grabbed my pen tool and just started doing vectors. And that's what I did. I ended up, you know, just vectoring the whole original design, and I sent it over as an STL file over to Tinkercad. And that's where I just made a Boolean of it on a little square that I made. And that's how I was able to print out the sign in clear resin. It needed to be clear resin, and I needed those lines to be as crisp as possible, even though they were going to be printed in a very small scale. So I had the 3D print ready, and it came out really nice. I'm still not a fan of clear resin from Siraya Tech because it tends to crack, even though I made sure to completely clean and dry off the print before I put it in the final cure, and it still had like little cracks on it, and it pissed me off royally. But hey, if anybody out there knows of a clear resin that doesn't do that, let me know. Once I had the sign done and printed and I had all the elements ready, now was the moment that I needed to think of a way to actually light it up. To be honest, it wasn't something easy to come up with. It was not easy at all trying to figure out how to make it, you know, light up. This was my thought process first. My first thought process was make holes at the very top and bring down, you know, fairy lights. Maybe that way that would go around the sign and it would light it up. I didn't like how that ended up looking, you know, just making a mock-up. So it was back to the drawing board. While I was trying to come up with an idea on how to provide a solution to my problem, which was how the hell do I make this light up and make it look good, I was watching some crafting videos and from other channels, and I saw that several of them, I don't know why, maybe the algorithm heard my cries, and it was like, hey, hello, here you go, some inspiration. So I managed to watch some videos that had filament, LED filament installed in their models. And I was like, hold on, that could work. How could I make that work? And okay, the first thing I did was order the damn LED filaments. They came in. Then I thought, I'm not an electrician. How the fuck do you make this work? So there I go, looking into more tutorials on how to do it. Finally, I managed to kind of figure out what I was supposed to do. Being that the filament is so flexible and you can pretty much do whatever with it, my next course of action was figuring out where to put it. Put it on the top or put it on the bottom, because it will look strange either way. If you put like an LED like bulb on the top, it's gonna look like, why is it there? And if you put it in the bottom, it's like, why is it there? I mean, just by itself. At the end of the day, after like maybe a week of having this fully printed and ready to paint, but still not having the slightest idea on what to do, I saw another video that someone used the filament inside an acrylic or plastic tube to make a lightsaber. That's when the light bulb hit my head. I immediately thought, put the filament through some tubing and put it on the bottom and make it as a footrest, but it would actually be the light. I got online and I ordered some acrylic tubing. Big enough so it would look like to scale to what I was doing, but still small enough so that that filament can go in. And that's what I did. What I ordered were just acrylic tube rods, and I cut them to size. And the way that I basically figured out how to work around, being that it's just a tube, acrylic bends with heat, just like resin. And I just took my heat gun and bend the tube to the shape that I wanted it to look like. That way the cable can go into the inside of the bar. And after several tests, I made sure that it was still working, and boom, it worked. I managed to make it work. However, I didn't like that it looked like a light bulb in general, still as a footrest. So the other thing that came to my mind was just paint it with a silver mirror paint and just leave a little crack where the light can escape to and just be directed to the sign itself. Now, I didn't grab just any mirror chrome paint. I've actually ordered Stuart Stepple's mirror chrome. If you do not know who Stuart Stemple is, I would totally recommend you Google it up, because it's an amazing story of this person. But basically, his company name is Culture Hustle, and they do like this mirror chrome paint, and that's what I had. You can use it to brush it, and it will look like mirror chrome. But I used the airbrush, and it looks just like a mirror, and that's what I used. So that helped the reflection bounce off of the paint on the inside and just go up in a specific direction to the light. And that's how I managed to light the sign up. All right, now the base is actually something that I originally ordered along with the plastic tubing from the same company. Unfortunately, I appear to have ordered the wrong size and shape, so I got screwed over by myself. So with that pinch and with time on top of me, I actually had 4 small bases. And what I did was just glue them together and make it a big one. Just make sure to putty everything and slap a lot of primer on that so that it can conceal any seam lines, which I think it turned out okay-ish, not perfect, but okay. For what it was. It's just a checkerboard base. It's nothing out of this world or anything special. I just like the checkerboard pattern for a bar. That's how I ended up with that. The only moment I had a rough time with her was when I was basically masking off her entire outfit. She has a lot of lines and different colors on them, and it took several days to get it done. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I even got cross-eyed and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put this aside and just go take a break because this is too much. Unfortunately, when it comes to this type of pattern, you need to mask over the masking and mask over that other 2 maskings that you did. So you don't really know if you did a good job or not until you remove it all and then realize that maybe you didn't. And maybe you need a lot of touch-ups, or in the worst case scenario, you strip paint, which is what happened. I didn't show it in the video, but it did strip a little bit of paint. I'm not going to tell you where. It was in an inconspicuous area, so I was like, okay, I can hide this. And that's all I'm going to say. If you can't notice it, it's a win. Other than the masking, everything else was just, you know, something that sometimes I came up with it on the fly and others had more thought into it. But generally, I really like this figure ever since I saw her, and when the opportunity came to share that story with the world, I thought, hey, why not use a cute chubby girl to help me share that story. Because like I said, former fat girl over here, and yeah, there are not a lot of cute fat figures out there. So I'm like, you're it. Now in the video, you do see me use like a metallic color at the beginning when I was doing the stool base. But when I did the metallic mirror effect on the footrest, it didn't look right. It looked too different, so I went back and painted over with the mirror paint from Stuart Simple, and yeah, I made the match because I need consistency. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video if you did watch it. And even though I normally explain what I do and why I do things in my videos, I know Storytime videos sometimes don't express or don't elaborate much just by visuals on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I thought that maybe doing this video would help, you know, quell curiosities that might arise, because yeah, not a lot of people paint garage kids, and I totally understand that somebody can get lost. Still, I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was really different from my normal videos, because like I said, you usually see the reveal at the end of my video, not at the beginning, especially on a completely separate one. So yeah, that is the reason why you are seeing this right now. And like I said, if you are curious to see the whole painting process, you know, much of it like in a nutshell highlighted and all the good stuff, you can go watch the video if you don't mind listening to my personal, very personal story of how I ended up where I am today, health-wise. Be very specific, health-wise. Until next time, my dear resin monkeys, I hope you had a wonderful or fun or just chill Halloween, and let's continue on with normal stuff after this, maybe. Take care, my little lovely resin monkeys. Until next time.